Elections have finally been announced in Bangladesh, and these, of course, are dates that have been announced by the Chief Advisor of the Interim Government of Bangladesh, Muhammad Yunus. In an address to the nation ahead of Eid-ul-Azha, Muhammad Yunus said that elections would be held by April 2026, which is April next year, and he specified that this will be held in the first half of April, which means that Bangladesh finally has a date for elections. Earlier, the interim government had provided a timeline, but it was a vague timeline, and it was said that it would be held any time between December and April next year. Now, that was something that was not acceptable to either the military or to major political parties like the Bangladesh Nationalist Party or the BNP. There was considerable criticism on Muhammad Yunus for not announcing a date for elections. The critics of Muhammad Yunus accused him of wanting to stay on in power without a political mandate and going far beyond the mandate that the interim government had, which was to introduce reforms and hold elections so that a properly elected democratic government with a political mandate can take over. However, there was no commitment on a date from the Muhammad Yunus-led interim government, and it was maintained that it would be held between December and April. Finally, there is a date. They've gone a step further and said first week of April 2026 or first half of April 2026 is what they say. And that's the time when elections will be held. However, the military had earlier said that they want elections by December. The army chief and the navy chief met Muhammad Yunus today, and they say that this meeting was, of course, a courtesy meeting is what it's being billed as, because obviously it was held on the occasion of Eid. But many are saying that things could have been discussed. At least there's speculation that things could have been discussed. Whether they were or not is something that only the people who attended the meeting know. However, there is speculation over what was discussed between the army chief, navy chief and Muhammad Yunus who met today. And that is something that is clearly what political parties are also watching out for, because the Bangladesh Nationalist Party or the BNP has come out and said that April is not a suitable date for elections. They want elections to be held by December. They say it's possible to hold elections by December. And Yunus government has also come under criticism from the Bangladesh Nationalist Party and from Tariq Rahman, the acting chairperson of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, who in a rally held earlier in Dhaka had addressed a gathering and said that, there should be elections by December, and hold elections was a strong message that had been sent out to Muhammad Yunus. In spite of that, there was no date. However, finally there is a date. Now, whether this date is agreeable to all parties involved, especially the political parties and the stakeholders in these elections, is something that is still not clear. Obviously, parties like the Bangladesh Nationalist Party has said that they want, and they're continuing to stick to their stand of wanting elections by December. But the Yunus government has said April or first half of April 2026 is when these elections are going to be held. And that seems to be the date that the administration or the interim government is putting out as far as elections in Bangladesh are concerned. And therefore, it is likely that it could be held then, unless there is enormous pressure from Muhammad Yunus, and this kind of pressure continues from both the military and the political parties to shift the date of elections to December, which is when everybody thinks that it could be a suitable time to implement reforms and hold elections as well. For more such videos where we go beyond the headlines, stay tuned to NDTV's YouTube platform, where we give you the news and the context in which it is taking place. For all the news and updates, stay tuned to NDTV. Thank you so much for watching.